Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back here to review another episode of CBS's Big Brother Season 20, episode number 7. So let's just get down to it. Pretty much, Winston and Scotty were the two nominees. Tyler has the cloud. The plan is still to backdoor Swaggy, and the reason is because Kaitlyn says that he's mean and he's telling lies about her. But on a side note, Kaitlyn never had a conversation with Swaggy. She never approached this dude. It's all he said, she said, coming mostly from Tyler. Both Winston and Scotty are pawns, again because Swaggy is the backdoor choice. Scotty knows that he's a pawn, but he also knows that pawns go home, which is why he says he's going to work hard to win the veto. Tyler feels like he's sitting pretty. Winston is all for backdooring Swaggy, but he doesn't trust Kaitlyn, and he feels like he needs to win the veto. Brett says that he needs to make sure that Winston is safe. For all the casual fans watching this, you need to know that Brett and Winston are in a showmance. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the comment that Winston said where he said that they are not dating, i.e. they are not in a showmance. They are definitely in a showmance in this house. Now, as an alliance, Falte thought that it was all good and that regardless of what happened during the veto competition, Winston was the target, or at least that is what Kaitlyn told them. But really, Kaitlyn says she needs Falte to think that she's with them. Then she says something in her diary room session like she didn't want to backdoor Swaggy. She doesn't feel good about it. I must be paraphrasing that. But the point is, this is her HOH. She makes the decisions. I feel like she's becoming emotional and she's crying or fake crying with her crocodile tears so that people will feel sorry for her, so that when they're voted out, they will have pity on her when it's time to vote for her at the end. Nope. Swaggy thinks that Winston going on the block is beautiful. Not once does he realize that he is the target. Not once. Before they even had the veto competition, Swaggy was sitting pretty. He wasn't even talking in any of the conversations about himself going on the block. So he had no clue. No clue. As for the veto competition pick the players segment, Kaitlyn got house guest choice. She chose Faisal. Winston chose Tyler. Scotty chose Rachel, and Scotty and Rachel bumped heads, which was really funny. Kaitlyn doesn't want Fessy to win, and she tells him not to win. She gives him all these excuses, tells him not to play hard. And Faisal doesn't feel good about what she's saying. All those bells and whistles in his head are obviously going off. Then we get Cody and Jess, who make a surprise appearance and come and visit the Big Brother house because they are the hosts of the Big Brother dating app competition. And it was really funny when Jess and Cody were talking in the diary room and Cody kept moving his head and Big Brother brought out those robot moves. Nice move, Big Brother. So shady, but nice move. I honestly didn't even care that Cody and Jess were there. I was just ready for them to get this veto competition over with. However, for some strange reason, Kaitlyn didn't know who Jody was. And if I remember correctly, in her interview that she had, I think with Ross, she said that she was a big fan of Big Brother. I'm like, if you're a big fan of Big Brother, then how do you not know who Jody is? Even if you didn't see her season, Big Brother has mentioned her quite a few times in different competitions over the years. Winston made sure to say in his dating video that he and Brett are not dating. Once again, Brett and Winston may not be dating, but they are most certainly in a showmance in this house. In the end, Tyler won the veto, but he's not happy that he won the veto because he has to make a move in public, so to speak, and he likes being behind closed doors, behind the curtains, pulling the strings. Because Tyler won, Kaitlyn knows that he is going to use the veto, so she is completely nervous about making a big move. But again, nominating Swaggy, backdooring Swaggy is not a big move. A big move would be to get rid of someone like, say, Winston, Brett, Angela, Rachel, anybody from level 6 at this point. That's a big move. This move Kaitlyn's making is a more emotional move. It really has nothing to do with gameplay because Swaggy is not a threat to her at this point in the game. Swaggy is happy because Winston didn't win the veto, and I'm just looking at the TV like, okay. Swaggy seems so happy that Winston didn't win the veto, and I'm just looking at him as I'm watching TV like, dude, you are so in danger. And I said the same thing while I was watching the feeds as well. Tyler told Kaitlyn that he was going to use the veto and he wants her to put Swaggy up in place of Scotty. Kaitlyn's talking to Faisal and she tells him that she's going to put up Angela in the place of Scotty. But she also fears the backlash of Faute, and she should because she's in danger. She really is. Because as I said in my previous video, she has no one really to rely on. I mean, it seems like she has Tyler, but really Tyler's using her, and more than likely he's going to cut ties with her pretty soon. Because Tyler is supposed to be helping Sam, and he's helping Kaitlyn. He's not going to help them both. And it seems like he's more loyal to Sam than to Kaitlyn. Just saying. As you know, Rachel got the crap app. So she chose the yelling crap app. So some random reviewer guy came into the house, was yelling at her at different times during the day. That whole situation, that whole montage was a combination of scary, weird, and funny. The scary part of it was the fact that she was asleep at one point. Everybody else in the house was asleep, and then he pops in and he starts yelling at her, waking everybody up, scaring the crap out of everyone. And then there was that part where she was in the diary room doing her diary room entry, and the dude comes in and he starts screaming at her. That whole thing was weird. A lot of people thought that Josh, the winner of season 19, was going to come into the house and he was going to be the one to yell at her. But really that was a rumor that somebody on social media started. So, Kaitlyn decides to tell Haley, considering everything that I read involving the conversation between Kaitlyn and Haley, which was all about Swaggy being the replacement nominee and being backdoored. I was not surprised when Haley just went through it and went through the motions. Now, she says in her diary room segment that she was in panic mode. All she could do was smile and agree. And honestly, I'm not mad at her for this, but a lot of people on social media are. They're calling her flip-flopper. They're calling her a flop. Me, I'm just like, I'm not surprised by the game move of anybody this season at all. Because everybody seems to be making some crazy cracked moves. The crazy is coming from Kaitlyn. But just FYI, Haley is no longer a part of Faute. I believe that she and Brett are pretty close right now. And that she more than likely is going to vote the way that level 6 is voting, which is to vote Swaggy out. Unless, of course, in the next couple hours, Swaggy is able to convince the rest of the house to vote out Winston. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Just saying. Haley says to us, Kaitlyn, what are you doing? No. Let me make this clear. I'm not upset at the Falte members for not telling Swaggy that he was being backdoored, because for those of you who did not watch the feeds, Swaggy and Kaitlyn had a conversation with Tyler present because Kaitlyn doesn't want to be alone in the room with Swaggy or with Bailey because she thinks they're going to do something to her or change her mind or something to that effect. Anyways, Swaggy was talking to Kaitlyn. This was after he was put up as a replacement nominee, and he just started running his mouth and would not stop. And then he talked about his showmance with Bailey, and then he kind of started throwing Rockstar under the bus. So now, at this point in the game, Rockstar is looked at as public enemy number 1, when she really wasn't on anybody's radar before this. The thing is that people were mad at Haley because they said that Haley is a traitor because she didn't run and tell Swaggy what Kaitlyn said, and she didn't try to convince Kaitlyn to do something different. The reason she didn't try to convince Kaitlyn to do something different is because they did try. There was no point because Kaitlyn is not listening to anybody other than Tyler and herself and the spirits. That's it. So when Haley sat there, she smiled and she nodded. She didn't want to piss off Kaitlyn and have Kaitlyn put her on the block. But Haley did tell Rockstar. But she told Rockstar, don't tell anybody. And Rockstar was kind of pissed off because she's like, what the heck is Kaitlyn doing? It really doesn't make any sense to put him up on the block. And then all of a sudden, as they're talking, because both of them were in the storage room, Tyler comes in and it looks all shady. And Rockstar is just like, that was weird. That was shady. So Rockstar says that Tyler makes her feel very uncomfortable, and she knows there's something up with Tyler. Like he's a mastermind or something to that effect. All you need to know is that Rockstar has been dropping bombs this entire weekend, and she is completely and utterly woke when it comes to this game. That's why when I was watching the feeds last Thursday night and the camera was focused on her, it's because she was really thinking about the game and she's aware of a lot of what's going on. So Rockstar was talking to Faisal. Faisal thinks that Angela is going to be the replacement nominee. Rockstar wants to tell him no, it's Swaggy, but she and Haley made a pact and she can't do it. But God, does she want to tell him. And on a side note, Big Brother gave Rockstar a really awesome edit. So we see Kaitlyn trying to smooth things over with Faisal before the veto ceremony. And the way she's talking to him gives him this impression that, you know what, something is up, but she won't say Swaggy's name. She keeps telling him, listen, I'm going to have to do something, and I hope that you're still my friend, blase, blase, blah. I think she asked him for a hug, and he got up and he walked away from her. So they get to the veto meeting, and Tyler decides to use the veto to save Scotty, as he said. Kaitlyn names Swaggy the replacement, but before she even gets the words out, she starts crying. She's trying to use those crocodile tears to convince the house guests that she feels bad about the move that she's making. I don't believe that she does. Swaggy C is not happy, but he doesn't react. He's just kind of like flabbergasted, and he just makes this blank face. Bailey's highly upset. Faisal was upset when he sat down on the couch before the ceremony even began, and he was saying to Swaggy, something's up. She was trying to apologize to me. I don't know what was going on. Tyler's super happy because he said, this is huge. The back door is set. Faisal is completely confused, honey. We all are confused. All of us Big Brother watchers are confused by everything that Kaitlyn has done in the past week. Bailey is panicking because she's like, if they backdoor him, what are they going to do to her? See, this is why you don't get in the showmance in Big Brother, because you're always a target even when your showmancer or showmancy is not in the house. Kaitlyn starts crying, and she tells us that she put him up because she's doing this for the part of herself that couldn't do this, meaning like she's standing up against bullies, blase, blase, blah. And I'm just watching this episode like, what does that have to do with the game? It has nothing to do with gameplay. He wasn't even targeting her at all. So if Chris manages to stay another week or so and he becomes HOH, she will definitely be targeted. But if he goes home, she's still going to be targeted. So it is what it is. Swaggy C said coming to Big Brother, he knew he was going to be nominated. He talked about being from an urban area. He says that he had to be ready to go at any time. But the thing is, the way this episode was edited, it gave the impression that Swaggy C had no idea about the backdoor, of which he did not. And I watched the feeds. He didn't know what was going on. He thought that it was set and that Winston was going home. But most recently, I believe it was yesterday, Swaggy, or it's either yesterday or Sunday, Swaggy was having a conversation with Kaitlyn. He was talking to Kaitlyn. And he told Kaitlyn, all you had to do was talk to me and come to me, and you didn't do that. He even threw shade at Tyler, and Tyler looked a bit shook. Hopefully Big Brother shows that entire conversation, and if not, show the juicy parts to the casuals so that they know what happened in that conversation. But after a while, I had to turn off the feeds because then Swaggy started running his mouth and talking about how he and Bailey are in a showmance and he loves her and blah, blah, blah. And then I found out yesterday that allegedly, because I didn't see it on the feeds and I really didn't hear anybody talking about it, that allegedly Bailey and Swaggy had sex in Kaitlyn's shower. But I believe that with a grain of salt, because Kaitlyn is a part of that crew, that one of which wanted to take a condom and put it under Bailey and Swaggy's bed to get them targeted. So it is what it is. You guys take care. I'll be back tomorrow to review episode 8. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Love you guys. Bye, guys. Love you all. Bye.